Welcome, everyone, to the Alpine Church of Spiritual Living. Glad to have you with us this morning. I'm going to be reading the thought for the week, and I'd like us to recognize that if you're seeing this on video of some sort, on YouTube or whatever, that we appreciate you, and we appreciate your recognizing that we are here to serve you. If there's anything that we can do for you at all, please notify us on the website or come in person. And we would love to support you in any way possible. And we would appreciate your support as well. So if you are getting any sort of positive reinforcement from the thought for the week or the talk or whatever, to go to our website and hit the donate button and let us know that you support us in that financial manner as well. So here's our thought for the week today. With this beautiful season of spring bringing new life once again, let us celebrate and give thanks for each and every facet of life. How privileged and what a joy it is to live on this planet at this time. The earth and the fullness thereof is a God-given gift worth recognizing and honoring. How many times a day do you acknowledge being here, able to give and receive of the fullness of life? Our consciousness dictates the quality of the life we experience. Our consciousness is worth taking the time to elevate, so that we may be a blessing to ourselves and others. You are worth investing in. What I mean by that is taking the time and intention to learn, grow, and be an ambassador for God, good, in the world. Everything is first created in the spiritual realm before coming into form. Setting an intention to make our spiritual growth a priority leads us on a fascinating journey of the soul. I imagine most are familiar with Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 8, which reads in part, "To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. Recognize that at every moment you are always in your right and perfect place by divine appointment. Learn to flow and accept the variances of life with ease and grace. Be open to the wonderment of putting your faith and trust in God the good, omnipotent. Know that the unseen forces of the universe are conspiring to lift and elevate you to higher realms of being. Say with me, I am ready and eager to learn, grow, and raise my consciousness to higher levels of being. This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it." So spring is in the air, and I am very grateful. As many of you know, my home is heated by a wood-burning stove, and so it's warmer temperatures coming are a grateful acceptance of mine, and also the fact that my big pile of wood is dwindling, but to the point that I think I'm going to make it. I've got just enough, I believe, to handle the few little short days that might be coming of the cooler weather, so that I'll have to replenish the pile by next fall and winter. So I appreciate that. For now, I have what I need. Our message this morning is entitled New Life, and my intention is to really get us to recognize and accept the continuality of this beautiful experience that we are having called life on this planet Earth. We have been reading in our book study, Michael Singer's The Living Untethered, and the subtitle of it is Beyond the Human Predicament. We have had some interesting discussions in our book study, and we're only about halfway through it at this point in time. So he sets it up from the beginning that this world is impersonal. He starts back at the beginning of the Big Bang, and he says how the stars were generated and formed, and literally goes into a lot of detail. Scientifically, it's known to many, but it wasn't known to me at all. I had no idea of the details he's going into. But he comes up with the point then that all of this has been created for billions of years with none of my personal, your personal, any of us, our personal achievement towards it. He says that nothing is really personal. when you look at what has been established, what has been created in life. We didn't do it. But what we do is that we establish preferences in our lives. And we decide that we want to have it this way or we want to have it that way. And we determine if it doesn't come the way we want it, we're not happy. He talks about this development of our preferences being developing our personal mind. And so what we end up doing is we either end up clinging to something that we love. He gives it great explanations. One of them, the example was a butterfly lands on you. And oh, isn't that wonderful? This beautiful butterfly's landed on me and I love it. And I want to keep experiencing that. But then you're walking along and a rattlesnake is in front of you. And you're like, no, I don't want that. And what we end up doing is clinging, wanting to relive, wanting to re-establish ourselves in that feeling and that energy of that beautiful butterfly. But if we see, and then he goes on to say, if you're walking down and you see a rope on the ground, it immediately reminds you of that snake and you freak out. You're like, oh my gosh, a snake. It's not a snake, it's a rope. But what you have done is created what he calls samskaras in your emotional body that bring you back to thinking that it's a snake and it's something you have to be afraid of and that you don't want. So what he's indicating is that we all do this, not consciously, it's all subconsciously that it happens, but to be aware of it so that we can, the result of what you have to do in order to not let them run your lives is you let every moment pass through you. To allow the moment in front of you to be what it is because you personally did not create it. Now, we have some wonderful religious scientists in our discussion group that say, what do you mean? I'm reading Troward, I'm reading Ernest, and this says that, my thoughts create my experience. What are you talking about that I didn't create this? For me, I think that they both can exist together. Because Singer is really reinforcing a lot of what we've already read of this last year or 2 years with David R. Hawkins. That these feelings come up and we need to let them be. We need to let them experience themselves through us. And yes, change your thinking and change your life is true. So it's just another available asset of this infinite being that we are to let us recognize that there may be some subliminal elements within us that we need to kind of excavate and we need to kind of dig out so that we can let life, every moment, pass through us and let it be. I loved the song that we heard this morning with Daniel Namod, I want to be like water. I want to flow. That's the thing, to recognize that this life is one moment after another that I personally didn't create, but I get the opportunity to decide how am I going to accept it or not. Singer refers to Buddha in his first noble truth, and it says all of life is suffering. And then the second one is the cause of suffering is desire. He says, in this life you go through many different experiences. They should not cause suffering. Experiences are not suffering, they are experiences. Suffering is caused by the contact between what you mentally decided you wanted and the reality unfolding in front of you. When something is happening in life and we don't like it, it should not be a suffering to us. We should be able to let it move through us. Myrtle Fillmore, the Unity founder, the co-founder of Unity, said, you do not have a problem except the one that is in your own mind, and you put it there. Think about that. We don't have problems. We have experiences. Life is to be giving us the availability of having experiences. And of course, we as humans are going to want to have it fun and available and the way we, quote, like it. But recognize that that also can be a stumbling block to our growth. I talked in the Thought for the Week about the fact that, our consciousness is important, not just for us, but for the whole of mankind. And when we elevate our consciousness, we are elevating all of mankind. The mystery of life is that things will work out and things will serve us when we have that openness about them. Singer reminds us that 99.999% of the universe is nothing but empty space. He talks about how long it takes in light years to get from one star to the next, and anything in between is just empty, blank space. He says, what you get every day is a miracle. There are colors and shapes and sounds, along with all amazing experiences you've been given with each passing moment. Yet, all you can say is, no, it's not what I want. Of course it's not what you want. That's the point. Instead of comparing the moment in front of you against your preferences you've built up inside your mind, why don't you compare it against nothing? Since that's what makes up 99.99% of the universe, be thankful that you get to have your daily experiences. They're certainly better than empty space. That's how a wise person lives. To just take a breath, accept where you are in life, knowing that I believe that, yes, our thinking, our habits, our experiences have placed us where we are, but yet we have the availability to accepting what comes to us and accept the gift that is there somehow through it. That's my point this morning. You all know that one of my favorite verses is our Psalms 18:24. It's over here on this banner that was given to me for my birthday. This is the day the Lord has made. I didn't make it. I shall rejoice and be glad in it. That's my job. That's my part. To rejoice and be glad that today, at this moment, I have this life full of all these wonderful experiences, colors and shapes, and to allow myself to not get balled up in the expectations that life is doing it wrong. To take a deep breath and say thank you. New life is continually letting go of the old and letting the new come forth, letting the new be revealed. Life is truly a gift that we need to unwrap and revel in and enjoy and share with all of the people around us. Enjoy this gift of new life today. Namaste.